Hi there once again. Welcome into Leading Edge. I'm your host, Jeff Smith. If you're watching us for the first time, we just want to let you know that you can also find the Leading Edge podcast on Apple or Spotify. Give us a follow if you'd like, and that'd be great. Today, we are talking about a major medical advancement happening right here in our community. ProMedica has just become the first health system in the Midwest, and only the third in the entire world, to roll out this state-of-the-art Da Vinci 5 surgical robot across all of its hospitals. It is part of a major investment to give patients access to safer, gentler procedures with less pain and faster recoveries, and this is all happening close to home. Joining me now to help us understand what this breakthrough really means for us locally, Dr. Stephen Stanek. He is a general surgeon with ProMedica and has been at the forefront of robotic surgery. Doctor, I appreciate you spending some time with us. This, when it came across our desk in the newsroom, really grabbed my attention. Right out of the gate, let's kind of break the mold from traditional surgery to this robotic surgery and let our viewers know how it differs.
So you can either do minimally invasive surgery, which used to be just plain old laparoscopic or what we call straight sticks. And then with the intuitive Da Vinci system, you now get full motion. You can do 500 degrees of motion with the wrist, so you can actually turn and then turn more. You get 3D vision.
Which you can't do normally, just manually?
Not with laparoscopic instruments. And so they really just took the forefront of that technology, and they even made it better now with the new Da Vinci 5 system.
That's what I wanted to get into here in just a bit. When we talk about somebody sitting at home thinking, okay, how many different applications are there for this? So run down even what you've been involved with, the different, you mentioned colon cancer type case, but how many other surgeries are possible with this system?
So we have urologists that do it, so they can do nephrectomies, partial nephrectomies, prostate surgeries where it really has driven most of the adoption. And then GYN surgeons will do hysterectomies, ovarian cancers or tumors, debulking. Even at ProMedica, we started using some dyes that they can inject near the tumor and then do a lymph node dissection, and it really helps you isolate where you're at.
Talk us through the video a little bit. What are we looking at here?
Well, you got the needle driver arms right now, and you can see that they're giving wristed motion so that you can actually not just go straight at something, go up and down, but you can turn and twist. This is actually our single port system, or the SP system.
Does this physically, what we're looking at right there, what parts physically go into one's body?
So all of that, even though it was blown up, was only about 2.5 centimeters. And so each of those arms are in there with the camera.
And the light and the camera and all of that goes inside.
Correct, yeah.
Talk about the training. This was something that has been around for years, and you got right in early, you said.
Yeah.
Why did that call to you?
There was a couple of attendings we worked with as a resident, and you just saw how good the surgeries were, how the patients had less pain, they got out of the hospital, less blood. So, outside of residency, I did a couple extra weekend trainings, and then when I started here at ProMedica, I just hit the ground running, and I said I was going to do everything I could, robotically.
Yeah. Talk about this Da Vinci 5 is the name of it, this new system. How does it differ from what you guys had access to before?
Oh, the old system we used to have, the camera was a little fuzzy. Real bulky. The top of the camera was this big. You had to put a plastic sleeve on it. Now everything is included. The head of the camera is small. The 3D vision's better. And with the Da Vinci 5 now, we have dexterity. We can actually feel pressure on things. Up till this system, we never knew. We could only look at the tissue and see whether we're tearing it, watch for some bleeding. But now you can actually feel how much tension you have on the organ. We're
going to show in our second segment some of the visuals of a doctor sitting there and using the controls. But what are you seeing when you look in the monitor or your visuals? I think about, and this is going to be corny, but you think about the movie Iron Man, right? And all the readout displays and everything that's coming up and popping up on screen. Are you seeing things like that? Heartbeat, pulse, things of that nature, blood pressure, all of that stuff?
Interesting question. So first of all, we're seeing 3D. So, if you're trying to grab something, you're not just going at it slowly. You can actually see yourself going around it. On the bottom, we can see when we're going to use electric cautery or a certain type of device. And then you can do ultrasound with it, and it will show you a tile box just like Iron Man seems in his mask, and you'll see the ultrasound as you're doing it.
How about that? And was that something that was added as this DaVinci 5? Did you have that in the previous version?
Yeah, they really did streamline it with the DaVinci 5.
Talk a little bit about this region having something like this and why this kind of raises the bar as far as healthcare in the Toledo region.
I mean, when I first started, we only had 2 in the system. Now we have 1 at almost every hospital. We have 6 at Toledo Hospital, 3 at Flower Hospital. We have 2 in our outpatient surgery center and 2 at Bay Park. So we've really just went all in on this technology because, like you said earlier, shorter length of stay, less pain. It's a safer operation for the patient.
And a total of 13 units, to my understanding, in all of the system. Is that correct?
13 or 15, yeah.
Well, stay right there. When we come back, we're going to dive into once again, the benefit for patients, the training that these surgeons go through, and what the future holds in this cutting-edge technology. Leading Edge is back right after this. Talking robotic surgery and a real breakthrough here in Northwest Ohio. So we were talking at the break, Doc. As we came back, we said, okay, somebody's watching this. They've got a surgery coming up. They've been told, I guess let's frame it this way. When do you say a robot's good here? When do you say we'll just go old school on this one?
That is part of the training we go through. It's a rigorous training. You got to decide if the patient, is healthy enough for it. If they have a really bad heart, we may decide to do something open. It's a little less stress, but for the most part, it is a better surgery, and if it can be done, we're going to do it at ProMedica.
Yeah, but somebody's not to think I'm getting less of a surgery because I'm not getting the robot these days.
No, sometimes an open surgery is needed, and you will get better care with an open surgery.
Talk a little bit about I guess, where you guys have seen these robotic-assisted surgeries really kind of reinvent the wheel for your practice.
So for my practice, I'm a general surgeon, and I specialize mostly in giant hernias. I mean, those patients would have a big open surgery from stem to sternum, as we would call it, and they'd be in the hospital for 5, 6, 7 days. Robotically now, I can do the exact same hernia. They go home from recovery. And they come back, they're using less pain meds. They're back to work sooner. They don't have infections. It's great. Colon surgery, again, length of stay going down from 9 days to 3 days. Our GYN surgeon's doing an open hysterectomy, lots of complications, lots of wound infections. They don't get that robotically, and they get to go home from recovery.
You touched on something, and it's been kind of a buzz phrase over the last few years, and that is the opioid addiction, pain relievers, that kind of thing. You just said this surgery promotes less pain, less recovery.
Absolutely.
So right there, you're win-win, right?
Oh, yeah. I would say 70% of my inguinal hernias do not use narcotics. Just ibuprofen and Tylenol. Whereas if I did it open, 50, 70% of those come back for a refill. So big difference.
How much training? You've got 160, I think I read, 160 plus who have been trained on this system so far in the ProMedica
system,
network, right? How much training? You said you jumped in as a resident, but if there's a doctor out there right now, and I've been hearing so much about this, and I'd like our system to get involved in that, how much are they looking at? And can you be that old dog who can learn a new trick kind of thing?
You definitely can be the old dog to learn a new trick. I mean, I've got partners I've worked with that have totally changed their practice, and they did that in a year. And now they go from all open to almost all robotic. So it can be done. Obviously, training during residency is great. Our residents graduate with over 200 robotic cases that they do per year. When I graduated, I only had 50. So a lot more exposure. And then Intuitive as a company itself, they can send you to do labs. You go watch a surgeon operate, or you go practice on a pig or something like that.
Talk me through a patient going in and what kind of questions should they be asking if this is right for them or not?
Well, they always ask, is the robot doing the surgery? No, the surgeon's doing the surgery.
Touch on that, because you're always in control. Correct?
It's just a tool. We sit at a console, we get 3D vision. Now with the Da Vinci 5, we can sit up straight and be comfortable the whole case. And then...
I don't know if we can show more of the video. I just find it fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
But go on, you said you sit up and...
Yeah, so as you can see the hands moving here, you're sitting up in that viewer there, and where he's looking, he's seeing 3D vision. And where his hands are, you can let those go, turn your hands again, so you can get 520 degrees. And then he's got foot pedals down by his feet. So you're controlling the instruments the whole time. It's just taking his giant hands and turning them into a 1 centimeter instrument.
How tough is the learning? I mean, the learning curve to figure this out, to get your bearings straight as far as you are extending arms that aren't yours.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve.
And how far, tell me, how far are you from the patient at this point where you're sitting?
Most rooms, you're only 10, 20 feet, but you could be even closer. You're always
and
positioned.
During the procedure, let me ask you this, I'm sorry. As you're sitting there at the controls, do you have a table, like where the patient is laying down? Are they surrounded by other doctors, other attendees?
Yes. We always have a scrub tech, which is helping with the instruments, and either a PA or a resident that is at bedside helping to assist at all times.
So there's still, the old school is still implemented in some way, shape, or form.
They're always there ready.
Yeah.
If anything were to go awry.
And the one thing I asked you as well, and we can't dive into this a whole lot, but as far as the cost and the expense of something like this and trying to figure out whether or not, you said hospital stays are limited, right? Mm-hmm. This cuts down the amount of hospital stays. But I was wondering, is there a big difference between going in there and saying, okay, we're going to use the robot on you, we're going to lessen your stay? Is that a wash kind of a thing in your experience?
From a patient standpoint, I think if it gets you back to doing work better or enjoying your family and back to normal activities faster, I think that is priceless.
Right?
And from a system standpoint, they're getting the patient out the door faster and they're giving them a better surgery with less complications. So for the system standpoint, they're going to get reimbursed better too.
Talk about the future of this technology and where you see it going, where you know it's going to go.
One thing I'm really excited about the Da Vinci 5 is they have the ability for you to put another surgeon. They can log in and watch the video. And so if you want to ask questions or if you want to point out to another surgeon in a different state, they can log on and you can say, look, this is where you would dissect this. So in real time, you can open up your phone, open up your app, and you can get either feedback from another surgeon or you can teach them.
Are there upgrades that you upload to the system? Does it work that way?
All the time. They just upgrade all the time. Yeah.
Just like that. It's a huge computer. Doctor, fascinating stuff. We appreciate it. And once again, ProMedica on the cutting edge of this technology. Stay right there. When we come back here on Leading Edge, Toledo's foundation was all about manufacturing. And we dive into today's labor force and look ahead to Toledo's Labor Day parade. Stay with us. Welcome back here on Leading Edge. The rest of the country will mark Labor Day in about a week on Monday, September 1st. But selfishly, we believe no town will have it mean more than Toledo. From building up the skilled trades to attracting new manufacturing and preparing today's workforce for tomorrow's industries, we'll look right now at what it takes to keep this region moving forward. Shaun Enright is on the end, Northwest Ohio Building and Construction Trades Union, and John Clemons, American Maritime officers, joining us here to talk a little bit about not only what's coming up, but where we've been and how we got to this point. Guys, thanks for taking the time, because obviously a big day each and every year when we hit Labor Day. It's kind of one of those holidays where, John, you feel people kind of lose the essence of what it's about sometimes?
Sometimes, and Toledo's a little different though, because we're built on labor, and we're pretty much a blue-collar town.
Yeah.
So I think they recognize how important labor is to the area.
Shaun, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, expanding this to the future, because we go out, we do stories where there are so many trade fairs, there are so many opportunities for youth to kind of experience working with their hands and understanding how important that is going forward, especially in our region. Talk about the movement, talk about the mission to try to expand the base.
Yeah, so it's actually awesome in Toledo. So we have Toledo Public School has phenomenal academy for everything. Then you even go outside of Toledo, you have Penn Career Tech. Even the parochial schools are supporting this. So the breeding ground, so to speak, the training is everywhere. You know, back in the old days, you had Matt Cumber Whitney, which was a great school.
Right.
Dr. Durant has done a phenomenal job bringing all that back together under one roof. So it's amazing, and it's simple. It's easier when they get engaged earlier.
What do you mean by that? It's simple.
So think about when you were growing up, did mom or dad ever work with you with tools or not? You know, a lot of families don't have that privilege to do that. Well, now half your school day is working with tools. So it intrigues you, you know, it makes you interested. It gives you those abilities that most people don't have.
How did TPS kind of hit on something as far as these magnet schools are concerned and the importance of that? Because as you pointed out, you're seeing a lot of the other schools around the region kind of tap into that and try to make sure that it's available. Why is that so important?
Well, I think that gives them the foundation of what they need to open up into the trades.
Yeah.
And that's gives them the basic understanding, like, for instance, across the street, the Toledo Maritime Academy, you know, they give them the basics, documentation, and seamanship for them to cross over in the U.S. Merchant Marine, which I come from.
Yeah. Are we at a point of strength as far as the labor movement is concerned in Northwest Ohio, or the country for that matter? Are we in a state of flux? How do you view it? And I'll let both of you answer on that.
I think we're always strong, you know, and John mentioned here in Toledo, it's phenomenal, you know, but labor movement's growing. I mean, the workload's growing. You need the work for our membership to grow, right? So we're doing very, very well internationally even, you know, up in Canada and elsewhere. Our rank and file is growing pretty large.
Yeah,
So.
but you always want for more, right? And I mean, you live around here long enough, and I mean, the industry that sometimes doesn't set up shop in our area and goes elsewhere, and the push for tech jobs and things of that nature. But how important the foundation as far as automotive is concerned, and obviously steel and things of that nature, which Northwest Ohio has held on to for so long.
So,
Go ahead, John.
in my opinion, so
which is why you're here.
Just recently, Cleveland Cliffs, you know, to maybe circumvent some of the trade sanctions that are going on the federal level, has made a deal to produce or supply steel for one of the automotive industries, and that in its alone has strengthened U.S. Steel capabilities, which is very important. It's actually part of a national security issue. We have to have our utilization rate at 80% steel production of what we can make within the United States, and Cliffs securing that contract for automotive industry is huge, and that is a help for us because I represent the Great Lakes sailors. We bring in the raw materials to the steel mills that are along the Lake Erie, and down in the Chicago area.
Let me ask you a question. Sitting here on the mouth of the Maumee, where we are located at Summit and Cherry, and you know, you go across the river down a little ways, kind of near Cleveland Cliffs, where you're talking. There is a bit of a shipyard down there, but are you surprised there's not more ship building or even luxury boat building that has never taken foot here in the Toledo area? Is that a lost opportunity?
It is, and we used to build ships here in Toledo, but it's really reduced. It's come down drastically. If you look at us where we were at during World War II in the Liberty ships, and you know, basically, and it's my belief that we would have never won World War II if it wasn't for the Merchant Marine and all the ships that went over and supplied through the Lend-Lease Act. But we can say within Trump's Executive Order 14269 and his
not to be specific.
Yeah, well, because it matters to me, because we want to build more ships. We want to be competitive. The Chinese are out building us in ships and crews. It's just, and we have to be competitive in that if we're going to be able to keep our own security. I mean, because
do you feel there's an open ear for labor right now in D.C.? Because it seemed going into the election that there was a bit of a shift.
I feel the Republican Party is more open to labor than they ever have been. So my organizations, the building trades, openly support Republicans all the time. It's a pro-business philosophy. You know, I think the local politicians play partisan politics and get in their own way sometimes over Democrat, Republican issues, to where you'll find like Senator Husted, even when he was lieutenant governor, was all about economic development. You know, so partnering with folks like that is huge. You know, but again, some of our own local elects can't get out of their own way.
Yeah. Let's talk about the parade, which comes up. And I do have to mention Bruce Baumauer being the Grand Marshal. That just announced this past week. Bruce, 30 years plus at UAW Local 14, obviously a huge steward as far as the labor movement was concerned in so many different efforts. He was more than just automotive. Is that why you guys kind of said, he makes total sense to be the front and center of this?
I think so, but it was Local 12 that Bruce was part of. But yeah, I came up under Bruce. He is a huge mentor to me through the politics. Even though we were different unions, he just always was calm, collective, always offered help. And I think Bruce probably personally touched almost everybody in the labor movement of leadership. And to this day, he'll pick up, if you call him, he'll answer.
I can't really top that. He put it right on, hit the nail right on the head on that for sure.
Talk about what you're hoping for families to come out and experience on the parade day.
I'm hoping they see labor in what Toledo is, and it's a labor town, and mostly it is organized labor, but this is what built Toledo, is middle class, trades, apprenticeships, and even the U.S. shipping industry. We built Toledo.
And I hope somewhere in time there's not the political divide and there's just an understanding of strength in labor and what it means to this area. And I'm more than happy to help you guys out and be master of ceremonies for the event coming up once again on Monday, Labor Day. Guys, thank you so much. Great conversation.
We really appreciate it.
Of course. Good to see you here on Leading Edge. We'll be back right after this. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Leading Edge. If you want to reach the show with comments, ideas, suggestions, it's easy. Just send us an email. It's leadingedge, all one word, at WTOL.com. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, listen, learn, and lead.